order at 7 o'clock on November 14th. Flag's over here tonight. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next the approval of minutes.
Make the motion we approve the minutes.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Fast, seconded by Mr. Brzezinski to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Yes.
Mr. Fast?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Next, the approval of claims.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Riddell, seconded by Mr. Fath to approve the claims. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Next, utilities report. It's all yours, Mr. Howell. You have 45 seconds.
Everybody has a copy of my report, how's that? Really quick, I'll go through this as speedily as I can. I think we did have the tower calibrated, the controls calibrated today. I haven't spoken with Adam to see how that went, but Beal Anderson was out on site and took care of a couple other outstanding items. We did drain the, Adam was looking into putting an insertive valve to shut off the old well. We're gonna probably get D&M to come out and do some potholing to just see where some of the mains in that are and the best way of doing that. We can either put an insertive valve in or we can put a hydrostop in and cap it. Probably talk to D&M and see which one's the most cost effective to do. I think it's an 8-inch main, so those valves, those insertive valves can get kind of costly. It can be, $5,000 or $6,000 just for the valve. So we'll look and see what the best option is for that, I think. The small water tower has been drained. Did look at the altitude valve arrangement. Did not find I found a piping diagram, but not exactly where it's tied into the main. So we're going to do some disassembly of some of the smaller piping to make sure everything's depressurized there. Hopefully they didn't pull the inlet off the hot side of the valve and go around it, but we need to find that out because we just soon just shut the heater and everything off inside of that enclosure. It is down. I'll leave it up to you guys if it's good. If that's the way you want to do it. If you want to. I know structural integrity, I'm not the guy to talk to, but it is, Adam did drain it, so we'll keep it, check it, verify it this week that the valve's holding, so.
You don't have to jiggle the handle or anything on it, right?
I hope not. We'll just have to go out there every day and jiggle it, I guess. The grinder pump at the water plant tripped, and I don't know why it did. Pretty sure nothing's been done to that pump in 17 years. I would recommend that we probably get one purchased because it is pretty important to keep everything drained there. So I think it would be a good idea to get one. Just have it sitting there. I checked the amperage, the current draw, and everything on the existing pump. It seems to be okay. I don't know why it tripped out. It's probably not a good sign that it did.
What kind's in there?
It's a Barnes.
Okay.
So, Gas Bota's got them, or they can get them very relevant, but usually it takes a few days, if not a couple weeks, to get them in, so that's kind of a problem. So, I would think we get that. I did receive a quote to replace the chlorination system with the water plant, and that was just for gas. They shot about $11,000. I'm getting the prices. Once I get the report done, I'll give you some itemized costs and where we can budget them in and that over however long a period we want to do it. I can talk to Lori and we can determine what the best time frame is to implement some of these things, because there's some bigger ticket items and overhauling the high service pumps and that type of thing. Something that should be done. It's just a lot of it's just that it's old and it's just something that would just make a lot of sense to do now. You start getting over 10 years, you really need to start looking at just doing some preventive maintenance and overhauling and that. So, the wastewater plant, we were had a really interesting day today out there with the SCADA system. We did get the whole diver system and everything all taken care of today. We tested it, so we have 2 call-out systems now functioning. I don't think either one of them was functioning before. Several weeks ago anyway, we did get the one going, yeah, probably 3 weeks ago. I think there is one extra phone line out there that we can probably have shut off. So you did? Okay, so that was great. And I know there was some discussion in the past with someone else that needed 3 of them, so I don't see any reason that we need that. We did, Aeration Industries was on site. I think we've come up with a pretty good handle on what's going on. It will require some programming, but I think we can probably get to where they did a velocity test in the ditch, just to see if we can run one mixer. It looks like we can. We might have to do some fancy a little bit of significant programming. But the good thing of that is that will eliminate running a 15 horsepower motor for probably 20 hours or 15 hours a day. So it'll be a substantial cost savings to the town for that. So it'll be a good thing. We can also do some modulation with that to where instead it just turns on, turns off. We can really, with the DO sensors in there, we can actually get it to where it's basically just maintains the dissolved oxygen concentration you want in that system, instead of it spiking up to 5s and 6s and dropping and doing one of these numbers. You're really just wasting energy is all we do. So I think we've got that. We got a plan anyway for that. We're going to work back and forth and make some adjustments. But they're going to send Mark Vitala basically what they want the program to do, and he's going to basically have to write the program. There was no, and I don't understand why automated systems did it, but it wasn't the way it was supposed to have been programmed from the start, from what I can tell. Why it wasn't, or it was and was changed, I just don't know. But hopefully we'll get it straight to where everything runs pretty level. We did meet with SCADA. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I haven't got any price yet on that. We're going to have John from Superior Pump come out on Monday to go over and help Brett do the pull those aerators out and grease the U joint in them. It's supposed to be greased once a year. My understanding is it hasn't been done since they were installed. So it's tough to pull those out. So I'm not sure. We're going to see how this works and see how it is. But you got to rotate them up. You got to do some disassembly. I did one at Couts 20 years ago, and I can't remember exactly how much that entailed, but it may be a good, I think it's a good idea. John worked on those when he was with Gas Mode, he knows them pretty well. So we're going to we'll get the grease in that from, I think Dewey can get it there. I did do some calculations, just that I think the sludge disposal, I think it is what it is. I don't think there's any great cost savings that we can change operationally. I ran the numbers just relatively quick. I think your sludge cost is what the sludge costs are, or what they will be now. I think how we're doing it now is probably as efficient as it can be done. You're running about 7.5 cents a gallon, it looks like, if we base it on a 2% solid sludge. That's usually what we see with a facility like this. That's a reasonable rate for basically what we'd see and the type of disposal you have. So the grid system, I'm not sure. We're still looking at different options with that still. We ran some problems. We're still putting oil dry in there, and I don't like that. It's not a good thing. If I probably find some sawdust that was bagged. That would be something else I'd rather try doing. But I just don't know a way of handling it to get it in there and try it, and that's the biggest thing. So we're looking at some alternatives.
Do you need some sawdust?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be great, but it really almost needs to be, you know, in a way we can handle it pretty easily, so we're not getting it all over everything. But yeah, I'd at least like to try some and just see how well it works.
I don't know if I could get some or not, but if you wanna buy bags on places that, like elevators, that sell stuff for people that have horses.
Right, and that may be what we do, just try shavings, because the oil dries really, that dust is nasty, and it gets all over everything in there, and it's just, you know, it can't be good for the, you know, the electronics. It can't, you know, it's just not I don't think it's a good product to use. And then you got all that weight, and I just don't think it's a good thing. We are still looking at that washer system that I think Energenics had proposed, but, you know, I'm not sure what. I know you guys have had some discussions with McMahon and Energenics and all that stuff, but, you know, quite frankly, I still think it comes to the same point that I don't think there's a lot of grit to really take care of. I just think a lot of it's just slop, and that's makes it a little bit more difficult to deal with. But, then the final thing is well, we're looking at the way the SCADA system's set up. There isn't a way that there's always. I heard from the guys that they take picture snapshot shots of what comes up on the screen. There's a way that, and that's just not a really good way of doing things. Because the SCADA system it does a lot, provides you with a lot of information. There's two ways of doing it. We can either physically export to a spreadsheet somewhere, and I don't know if that's the greatest thing to do, or it's to get a program that will just automatically do it and just move this data over, and then you have a continuous spreadsheet with the data in it. The problem is it's $1,200, I think, is what Mark said it would be. I'm going to look into it a little bit further. I just really got that number a week and a half ago and haven't really done much with it. But the SCADA system will do it, you know, and do what we need. I just don't know if it's in the format we necessarily want it to do it. So, then finally, I'm just starting to get into the maps and that thing where the valves and all that stuff is, and it looks like there's going to be some work to do just to get all that stuff and get it on a really good, you know, and eventually my recommendation will be is to probably do a GIS type of thing, so it's all right where everything's at. I think it really would probably benefit everyone to look at to do that. So then you got it on layers, and you know you can do everything with it. It's just it's a pretty.
Do we need to look at exercising valves?
In the spring, we definitely need to do that.
Because we used to, at one point we did it where, I can't remember.
Emmy Simpson did it once. I saw the reports. I haven't read through them. I haven't gone through them. Yes, it's something that should be done. I like it, and that's another problem with the mapping. I really don't know how many valves are there. I really don't know for sure how many hydrants are out there for sure, and it just makes it really tough to do it. And the good thing with the GIS-based system is you can start putting the water shutoffs on them, and I mean you're within a foot of where they're at, so you can actually go find them and maybe get a metal detector out, but you're not searching a 100-foot wide yard looking for a water shutoff, and it makes things a lot better, especially if you got to shut water down in an emergency. So, but I think that's something that we'll start getting into a little bit more. And, you know, I'm hoping to have the report done by the 1st, so hopefully at least with some recommendations and that type of thing. That's my goal. But I'm going to be taking some time off here in the next 6 weeks. So.
But you're going to let the holidays get in your way, I suppose.
Ho, ho, ho.
Is there any questions? appreciate everything you're doing and what our guys are doing down there.
Yeah, they're doing a
It's,
good job, and we made it through, Adam was gone, most, kind of, he wasn't gone the whole 2 weeks, but, Brett did a good job, he was stressed out a little bit, but that's
Yeah.
okay. So, but I think they did a good job.
Part of the learning curve.
Yep, you learn quickly on that, in those type of circumstances, so.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you.
No questions or anything? Have a good evening. Paygo,
Yeah, this is the, company, whatever you call them, that we would like to use the debit and credit cards for utility payments. I think we talked about it a few months ago. I know they sent me some forms or agreements for Ethan to look over.
That I have gone through and revised, they've accepted the revisions, so if the town council is so inclined, you can go ahead and approve it's called an agency service agreement with it, unless you
Right.
want further discussion about that.
I'm meeting with them, let's see, was that Thursday, the 16th, yeah, this Thursday, just to kind of get more specifics about it, but I've already talked to them in depth and.
you wanna wait till,
What
Well-
Lori and I had talked about is if you guys are comfortable with it, is if you want to approve that agreement contingent on her meeting on Thursday going well, that way we don't have to either have a special meeting or wait until the December meeting to be.
Because I would like to get this up and running as soon as possible for utility payments, you know, to be able to accept
I'll make a motion that
debit
we
and credit cards.
approve the agency service agreement pending for meeting coming up with them.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to approve the agency service agreement pending Lori's meeting with them. Any questions or discussion? Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. A couple weeks ago, Tom and I and Ethan met with South Coast pertaining to a new contract with them. They would like for us to continue doing their meter reading. We can go by and gather the information just like we do in town, download the information, print it off, and give it to them for billing. It's, I've talked to Adam. It's maybe an hour of his time a month. And I told him we would give him a price. I think there's a few things we probably should put in there, like how long the agreement is, or we can end it at any time. Probably should put in there your thoughts, that it's the system that's compatible with what we have. I mean, they keep getting what we have, which I don't see why they wouldn't, because if they did want to spend the extra money, we wouldn't be doing this.
Brian, build-in fee for the hardware, it's pretty expensive hardware we use in case we have upgrades or stuff, should we have like a little bit of, we have labor involved with the hardware.
Well, a number I was thinking was like $125 a month to do it. That would cover his wages and then give us a cushion or more, if anybody has anything in mind.
I think we ought to look at, one thing we could do, we'll get the hourly wage from Adam for, the actual, we had a labor rate in their agreement previously, we could take a labor rate. We gotta take the cost of that equipment and the software upgrades and maybe build in.
Which we'll have to pay for anyway, I mean, on ours. So
Yeah, we will.
have to do the
Yeah,
hour.
yeah.
But, yeah,
Well,
let's- when we met with them, we informally told them that we would read it as a good neighbor for October, November. If we can get something by the December meeting, because they read them, I think, around the 25th of the month, they do their readings. So it would give us time, because what's our December meeting, the 12th maybe, or something like that? That would give us time to get something together, kick it around, and then we can have it ready for December meeting. If that sounds good with everybody.
And it's going to be only reading meters.
Only reading meters.
And the only time I think like that Adam gets like caught up in stuff is like if they add like a cost, if they add somebody new. I think Adam said like when they put in a new meter and he's having to put on his spreadsheet or put the time in there. I don't know if we have like a fee if they add a new customer or something.
Yeah, or we could just plug that in. I think they're probably getting at the end of where they're doing a lot of new construction out there.
Yeah.
Is this, they're reading meters, the individual meters out there as well as our big building meter?
We read our billing
that
meter
bills them.
to bill them like we do everybody else's. This is
And
to
they're-
read meters that they bill their
individual-
customers, yes.
They're going to read those too.
Right, and basically what it is just like in town, the wand and
Okay,
downloads it,
okay.
all that. So we'll work on a little more for next month.
Yeah, sounds
It was a pretty cordial meeting, as those meetings have gone before.
I thought it went well.
Who was there?
I was there.
Yeah,
It
I
was
wasn't
nice.
referring to
Oh, okay.
I think that really does, the meter reading really helps them out though, because I think that's the trickiest thing they have to contend with is not having the software. And we already spent all the
Let
money.
alone if somebody actually had to go back and with a book and write down each individual number like
Yeah.
they did in the olden days. So, okay, we'll kind of take that for next month. Anything else on utilities? Streets?
Only thing I can say is we're working on the road money, we're trying to get the bids ready. We've got, Prairie Meadow is our, like I was saying, was our main concern right now, what we want to do with that. So we're getting some more or less core samples of how much stone is there and what we can do at the cheapest, but yet, save it without tearing it all apart. And once they're in,
Okay.
maybe by December or January, we'll have
Or do we
to
have to,
review and put the bids out.
we can do it after the first of the year, put bids out, the money carries over.
We have to be shovel ready April first.
Oh,
Or
okay.
April
April 15th.
15th.
I just wanna make sure, I know they give us the money.
We have to have a,
Yeah,
Well, or,
no, we're not gonna slack on it,
yeah.
Okay.
No, we're,
we don't have to rush,
no,
okay.
but, I mean,
April will be here.
Well, I mean, we don't have to throw something together
Not
and
right
have
out
it
the
done
year.
by the end of the
no,
year.
no,
No,
because I
no.
guess how they will look at it is, they'll get right on the website and they can, and when we had them get this proposal ready for the asset management plan, they have already went over all the miles of roads that we have.
Okay.
They can figure the tonnage and everything,
Okay, well, that's
whether there's snow on there or not. We've already pointed out the bad areas to them, so they can have a look at them.
That's cool, good, good job. Anything else on streets?
That's it.
Okay, thanks.
Been
Anything?
plowed down there.
Yeah, did anybody see the snowplow painted with a,
double painted, but, yeah.
we have an artist?
Jim, the only thing that I will add to that is just when we do take that out for bid, because of how much work we're gonna be doing, that's gonna kick in all these special provisions for public works. So you're probably gonna end up, I mean, it's probably only gonna be like a Reeve Riley,
I was gonna
Walsh
say
and
that.
Kelly or
There's
somebody.
only
Because,
been two
yeah,
that bid it because
because of all the additional requirements, the insurance
there's
and
only a
everything
couple
else
that are
they have to
certified with
have.
the state to do that.
Right,
Right, yeah, that's what I was informed of.
okay.
Okay, parks, parks, police, briefly?
See if I can get my bifocal to work. So we have 276 calls for service. 4 accidents, 32 community policing events. We had 22 assist other agency calls, 91 traffic stops, and 1 warrant service. A couple of special notes. Here the last couple of months, Ian and I have basically almost completely been pulled off the road. We both have been wrapped up in more than one serious felony investigation that ended up with arrest. It's required a lot of out-of-town travel. We extradited somebody from Chicago that required jumping through some hoops. I've had several meetings with prosecutors. And I got word here this week that the felon that we arrested, I picked him up, about 3 weeks ago. He's being tried as a serious felon. He has 11 charges just in Westville, along with a parole violation. The most serious charge in Westville being armed robbery. So, and he's requested a speedy trial, so now that's gonna require some more work on our end. So if you see, you'll see a lot of out-of-town travel by Ian and I, and probably a lot of lack of patrol, and we just can't help it. So it's just sort of the nature of how things are gonna roll. We just had a lot of strange cases, all hit us all at once, and it's Ian and I doing it, and we're doing the best we can, but something's gonna lack, and unfortunately, it's gonna be street time. Another point that I talked to Ethan about, it's definitely been an unusual year, and this year, we've had 8 pursuits, so almost a pursuit a month we've had. And I noticed that they started increasing, the county maintains our warrants, and in an attempt to reduce the number of warrants that the county maintains, the sheriff adopted a policy for his department that for misdemeanor traffic offenses, he was gonna no longer allow information and summons and an OR bond. Drivers are being taken into custody for misdemeanor traffic violations for like suspended driving and that type of thing. And in support of him, I adopted the same policy for us, and I noticed that gradually, as it seems like as we increased our number of physical arrests for these minor offenses, our pursuits went up along with them. So I think in the best interest of the community, to try to keep everybody safe, the public, the drivers, and our officers, I switched back to an OR bond type thing for these misdemeanor traffic offenses, and see if we can kind of get people to calm down a little bit and avoid some of these high-risk type situations. So we're going to kind of regroup, and we're going to change our policy there and see if we can reduce the number of pursuits we've had and get that where it should be.
You want to define the OR?
OR bond, judges allow a little leniency on custodial arrests. Typically, the misdemeanor traffic arrests, speed contest, drag racing, driving while suspended, misdemeanor, driving without a license, like never receiving a license, which is a misdemeanor. Those are typically driving offenses. Running a stop sign on a school bus is a misdemeanor. Those are ones that you would pull a driver over, you would issue them an information and summons, which is basically a paper ticket, but it's a misdemeanor arrest. They sign the ticket, agree to show up to court, and you let them go about their way. What's happened over the years is you have a lot of drivers who are out there, they never posted bond, they're not out any money, they're still driving back and forth to work, so they're just gonna risk it, and they end up with a bench warrant, and then the county is stuck maintaining hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of warrants. And they just get piled up. They have thousands of warrants that the warrants division is trying to go through and trying to clear up. So Sheriff Boyd, trying to do the best he can, which he's an amazing sheriff, he's trying to get things cleaned up. But I think this may be a side effect of trying to clear those warrants up, is you have drivers now who don't want to go to jail because they don't have the money to bond, so they're taking a chance and they're running. A lot of them are motorcycles. We have a lot of people who are driving without motorcycle endorsements, and once you try to chase a motorcycle, you're 0 to 130 in a matter of seconds, and you're not going to catch them. So you got a motorcycle driving crazy down you, it's just a lot of dangerous nonsense for nothing. So I've let all my guys know, and we've gone over the process for releasing misdemeanor offenders on scene for these specific offenses, and I think that's the safest bet for the community as a whole. So that's the approach that I'd like to take, and I spoke to Ethan about it briefly, and I think it's the best approach all around. So, and other than that, Ethan has the ordinance for New Durham.
This is ordinance number 2017-12. This was an ordinance that Darren and I have worked on over the last probably month and a half or so ago. This is an ordinance that was drafted in response to some new legislation that I believe was passed by the General Assembly last year. The statute and the new legislation allows local police departments to enforce moving violations in private residential complexes and also private shopping centers. Darren and I have worked on that over a course of about the last month and a half. The first step in the process is to enact an ordinance that allows for the police department to begin enforcing moving violations in those complexes. then to the extent that there are owners of those complexes that would like to have the police department start enforcing moving violations in the complexes, they have to actually enter into an enforcement contract between the owner of the complex and the town. Just a couple of highlights of things on this. The owner of the complex is responsible for installing the signage to notify individuals of the fact that there are moving violations that will be enforced within the complex. The statute is specific on this. There's no ability for the town to impose a fee or collect anything along those lines from the owner as it would relate to providing those services. That said, if there are moving violations that are issued within the complex, then the town's portion of those moving violations do come to the town. The other part of this and I would like some input from the town council on, is a lot of communities that have started doing this, you really have to kind of determine how large of these complexes do you want to be eligible for this. I mean, ideally you don't want to have, Westville police officers sitting in a complex of 40 units or more trying to enforce these type of things. So the ordinance that you have in front of you right now is that it has to be a complex that includes 25 or more dwelling units. If you have some thoughts on that one way or the other, certainly willing to revisit that, but I think that was the intent in putting that language in it, was to make this only eligible for some of the larger complexes.
You said it could be a shopping center too.
It could be, yes.
Would we want to do that?
The ordinance you have right now only
It's just
covers
for
just the
the
residential complexes. It could be expanded to cover the private shopping centers
I don't
as
know
well.
if we need to. I can't think of any.
It would follow the same process that a residential complex would if they have to contact the town, submit a request to be subject to the ordinance, and then enter into an enforcement contract.
Yes.
Will they be beefing up patrols out there?
I mean, like adding people to do it?
Well, I know they're busy and I know they have a lot of miles to cover and I know you guys have a lot of calls, but will they be like patrolling through New Durham more often? I live at a busy T section and I counted this morning Monday morning I took the trash out, I counted 6 people that blew through the stop sign, didn't even stop.
Probably, I would think it's like anywhere else. I'm not speaking, I don't mean to speak for him, but if we have problem areas in town, they watch it a little more for a while.
Right, because now they can write the tickets.
Right. Right now, I can't do anything with
Right.
traffic yet.
Right, I get that, yeah, I just, because, say you don't have any calls and you've got an officer that's sitting there and he's got 15 minutes to blow, he could sit out there and he could write 10 tickets.
And that's something that we do. We have a couple problem areas, one like Allen John and Independence and Fairview have come up quite often. And what I'll do is I'll give my guys an assignment, hey, during shift, spend an hour here and an hour here. So that would be something that's very possible would come as we learn the trouble areas for each side, New Durham, East and West. As we learn the trouble areas, I can tell the guys, hey, I'm getting word on this, check this out. So yeah, absolutely.
And this is only for the enforcement of moving violations. This does not cover parking. So it would just be those type of traffic infractions. The other thing I will tell you on this is that there is a sunset on this legislation. I think it's 2020 or 2021. So unless the General Assembly takes action to extend this, this statute will expire at that time. I think it's kind of a test sample. See how it works.
Okay. We have ordinance 2017-12. It's an ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Westville, Port County, Indiana, approving the regulation of traffic in residential complexes. Unless the council would like it read in its entirety, I will read it by title only.
So be it.
Okay. I like the way you guys think. I will make a motion that we approve ordinance 2017-12 on the first reading.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Mashinsky. It was in stereo, so is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Mashinsky?
Yes.
Didn't mean to get you that good.
I want to recuse my vote because
Okay, understand. And Albert votes yes. Passes. We'd have to be unanimous vote.
What Tom is recusing himself, so if the three of you would be
Okay,
I'm making a motion to suspend the rules.
okay. I'll second the motion. Motion made by Mrs. Riddell, seconded by Albert, to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2017-12. Is there any discussion on the motion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Recuse
And
myself.
Albert votes yes, passes 3-0. So we'll get the signatures here shortly. This is just a sample, this enforcement contract.
Now then,
Yeah.
that's effective after we actually go into an agreement with.
Right.
Correct.
Now, does, if any facility that comes into contract with us, the signs have to, everything has to be
State standard.
state standard,
Mhm.
okay?
So when will that signage go up?
We don't do that. You'd have to talk to the owner of your facility.
There's on the signage side though, I mean, there's language, the owner of the complex has to work together with Darren to come up with the signage that has to be in there, the location. Once that's installed, then at that point in time, that's when the police department will begin enforcing moving violations.
And I don't think you guys are too terribly far off.
I was gonna say, there's not a whole lot more to do there.
Yeah, they maintain their signs very well, so I don't think there'll be a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
Should I move on to the financial?
Sure.
Under finance, resolution number 2017-7, transfer of funds. Alright. Be it resolved by the Westville Town Council that the following funds be transferred. Transfer $4,120 from appropriation number 201001395 tree removal out of the MVH fund to appropriation number 201001290 miscellaneous supplies MVH fund. I believe this is for Christmas lights. The purchase Christmas lights, correct? I make a motion that we pass resolution number 2017-7.
Okay, I'll second the motion. Motion made by Mr. Pfaff, seconded by Albert to adopt resolution 2017-7. Is there any discussion?
These are for the light.
Holiday lights, yes.
For the
All
black
along.
holes on Main Street.
Yeah. Just take that
The LEDs, right?
one. LEDs.
Yeah, because the old ones we light them up, they catch on fire, so.
Well, we can save it for July.
I believe the
That's sparking in here.
Lions Club donated them to us years ago.
Yeah.
It's time for something.
We were Saturday night, we were in Hobart, and they have those lights up.
Same lights that we want.
Exact, and they're really cool, they're kind of the blue LEDs
And Bubba said we're not gonna need a lot of that between now and the end of the year for trees, so.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay, finance, anything else on the finance, Tom?
That's it.
Fine job reading that too. I was gonna have you read it again, but I didn't have the heart. We have ordinance 2017-13 licensing and control of dogs and cats. This kind of came up last year, I believe, with Mrs. Smith. God, how can I not remember Smith? Pertaining to licensing, and this, I think, gets more in with the county's requirement, doesn't it, with what the county does?
Mhm.
There. We have ordinance 2017-13, it's an ordinance of the Town Council, Town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana, amending ordinance 2004-2 entitled Ordinance Amending Ordinances 87-2 and 96-2, providing for the licensing and control of dogs and cats in Westville. Would you like to give us not read it, but just give us
Sure.
a synopsis of it? I wasn't gonna make you read it.
Yeah, this was just kind of one of these housekeeping items that Lori and I had worked on. I know this, as you indicated, this was something that had been discussed about a year or so ago. Basically, in adopting this ordinance, we're making 2 changes to the current regulations regarding the licensing of cats and dogs. One is, there was an adjustment that was being made to the cost for a kennel license, and that was being changed to, or excuse me, no, just for cats and dogs, that was being changed to $5 for each cat or dog.
For total.
Right, that's correct.
And
Then in addition to that, there was also an adjustment we had made, because you have the standard charge for each cat and dog to license them, and then there's a kennel charge. We're also changing that to being $30 for up to 5 dogs, and in addition to that is $5 for each additional dog beyond that.
It was a reduction, because it was $50 originally,
Okay.
and then per dog, so we can group dogs,
Okay,
so it was easier.
so on the kennel side, that was a reduction on the current cost of those fees.
And the licensing was just, it was $4 if it was spayed or neutered or something like that, $6 if it wasn't, or we just went with the flat 5.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2017-13 on the first reading.
Second motion.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Fath to approve ordinance 2017-13 on the first reading. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2017-13.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2017-13. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Fath?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Next, resolution 2017, ordinance 2017-14. It's the salary ordinance for the year 2018. Clerk, from the general fund clerk, town council member, annual 2,400, clerk treasurer, annual 13,605.02, clerk level A, 12,759.76, clerk level B, 93,97.18, clerk level C, full-time or part-time, which is a currently filled spot, $12.21 per hour. Clerk level C, full-time or part-time, if it was a new hire, it'd be $11.40, and after 6 months probationary period, it'd be $11.90. And the retirement program is 8% of the salary for the clerk treasurer and full-time clerks after completion of 6 month probationary period. General fund police department, town marshal annual 56,148.04, chief deputy 46,343.44, first class deputy 43,377.62, probationary deputy 36,573.94, part-time officer 65,000. That's the complete budget amount, not paying a part-time person, one person 65 grand. Just to clarify that. Crossing guard is 10,971.36 for the year annually. Part-time clerk is 3,000. Retirement program is the 8%. The MVH fund, I think we have to sign those yet. The MVH fund is 55,435.12 for the street superintendent. Labor and mechanic level A is 35,376.64. The level B is 32,171.62. And a part-time labor with a total of hours of 360 per year is $11.40 per hour. That's also the 8%. Park fund, general maintenance, maximum 230 hours is $16.26 an hour, 26 cents an hour. Water, council member, 2,400 annually. Clerk treasurer, 13,605.02. Clerk level A, 12,759.76. Clerk level B, 93,97.18. Utility superintendent, 27,554.02. Ops foreman with 3 licenses is 22,651.72. 2 licenses, 19,969.04. 1 license, 17,286.36. Water operator is 35,462.96. Laborer full-time is $11.40, and after 6 month probationary period, $11.90. Labor part-time, $11.40, and after 6 month probationary period, $11.90. 8%, the same for the full-time people, the same as others. Sewage company, town council member, 2,400. Clerk treasurer, 13,605.02. Clerk level A, 12,759.76. Clerk level B, 93,97.18. Utility superintendent, 27,554.02. Ops foreman with 3 licenses, 22,651.72. 2 licenses 19,969.04, 1 license 17,286.36, an operator's 29,120. Labor full-time 1140, after 6 months 1190. The laborer currently filled 1221. Labor part-time at a new hire would be 1140, and after 6 months probationary would be 1190. Retirement program 8%. All individuals paid after January 1st would be $11.40 an hour. The exceptions would be full-time police officers and department heads. I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2017-14 on the first reading.
Second the motion?
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to approve ordinance 2017-14 on first reading. Is there any discussion? Mr. Paszynski?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes. Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Passes 4-0. I'll make a motion that we suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2017-14.
Second the motion?
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Pfaff to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2017-14. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mr. Paszynski?
Yes.
Albert votes yes. Passes 4-0. Resolution 2017-8. The town holiday.
Next, keep going.
Oh, we got it hidden in there.
We have 3 ordinances.
I know, it's a busy night, busy night. Resolution 2017-8. Whereas the town council of the town of Westville, Indiana desires to establish specific legal holidays for town employees pursuant to section 4.2 of the town of Westville personnel policy. Whereas the holidays to be observed are as follows: New Year's Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, President's Day, Good Friday, election, which is general, national, state, town, or primary election, and it's only in election years, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving Day, the day after Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve, Christmas days, and any other days defined by the town council. When any of these holidays fall on Sunday, the following Monday shall be the legal holiday. When any of these holidays fall on Saturday, the preceding Friday shall be the legal holiday. In the event Christmas falls on Saturday, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day holidays will be observed on Thursday and Friday. All of which is resolved with the town council of the town of Westville, and Westville is 14th day of November 2017. I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2017-8.
Resolution.
That too, I'll see if you're awake. Thank you.
Second.
After reading all these, I'm
I
trying to
know,
know what
I
my
know.
name is.
Thank
Thank
I
you.
really am.
We have a motion by Albert, second by Mrs. Riddell to adopt resolution 2017-8. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Paszynski?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Town employee health insurance. This week we met with, well, last week, the 9th, we met with Mr. Snyder in reference to our employee health insurance. And the policy that we've had, which is the low copay and kind of a rare type of policy compared to what a lot of them are. We had that offered to us with a renewal. There was also a comparable policy, which was also by United Healthcare, which is the carrier for other policies, that was substantially lower than our current policy, current coverage, and probably a better policy. We would save approximately total cost between the two was, how much a year do you have?
Between the one we have now,
Yeah, well, what was the increase? I thought I had this down, but the increase between.
yearly, if we were to keep what we have, it would go up to about $21,000 a year next year, if we were keeping what we have.
More,
Yes, the increase would be
right. And by getting the new one,
We're
we will,
saving
we're
about
saving
61,
about 61,000.
yes.
So we ask our insurance agent, is this too good to be true? And he had contacted underwriters and everybody in the food chain for United Healthcare. And the biggest reason is that it's lower, it's because it's a much larger group. Because our other insurance is based on our group. And this policy is a lot larger group, and it's age-based, so someone who is 20 is paying a little less than someone who is 30 or 40, whatever. So, we don't know what next year brings on health insurance. I don't think anybody does. And I think with the savings and a better policy, I think we would be better to go with a lower price one. If we don't stay with the one we have, it's gone. We can never get it back, though. You know,
So however, keeping the one we have is
Yeah.
also gonna go up another 20% next year.
Yeah.
If we keep going that,
Right,
we're not
yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
able to afford that.
eventually we would,
Be able to afford
we
it.
won't be able to afford any, so
They're pricing us out of that, I mean, that's what
Right.
they're doing, they're forcing
they,
those Cadillac plans.
yeah, they probably eventually want everybody to have high deductibles and all that, but this is the best for our employees. You know, so,
Well, I think it's smart to go with the other plan.
yeah,
I mean, saving $61,000 in a year's time is phenomenal.
and it's United Healthcare, I mean, it's
It's
good,
good insurance.
good insurance,
Yeah.
it's not a fly-by-night outfit. So I would, make a motion that we take the new policy offered rather than renewing our old one.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to go with the new policy, not renew our current policy for our health insurance. Any discussion? Jimmy came in and looked over everything at the meeting. So, if there's no discussion, we'll put it to vote. Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Anything else under miscellaneous then? Citizens' comments. Anything else to come before the council?
I'm with the Westville Auxiliary, and we were wondering if we could get permission to have an annual tree lighting ceremony at Prairie Meadow Park. It's the tree that's located right behind the concession stand. It's a pretty big tree, and we just plan on putting the lights on and then hosting it December 2nd, around like 5-ish.
Okay.
We plan on getting with the Little League and see if we can use their concession stand to sell hot chocolate and cookies. Just gonna be something very basic right now. We plan on trying to do it every year.
That's the fire department auxiliary.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have an objection then?
I think it's great.
Lighting the tree?
The only concern would be the electric bill.
I think
We would have a timer on it, so it'd come on at a certain time and shut off at a certain time.
and Mark already talked about it, because I had heard about it, and he said it's in this minute, the amount that it would use.
I'll make a motion that we let them put the lights in the tree on the 2nd, and we will furnish the electricity.
Second.
And next year you get LEDs.
I'm
I'm kidding, I'm
Can we
kidding.
put that in the budget for you guys for next year? We'll match the town.
We already got the LEDs. Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to allow the fire department auxiliary to decorate the large tree at Prairie Meadow, and the town will provide the electric for it.
And that's December 2nd?
Cool. Any discussion? Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 4-0. Anything else? I will make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mr. Bashinsky to adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourns at 7:54.